Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here once again. We thank Linda Reisting and the ADAO team for inviting us and allowing us this exchange of experience. Of course, I'm going to change everything I prepared 3 weeks, for 3 weeks. Firstly, I was banned from the Twitter. Elon Musk said that I'm not a person, a trustful person, and I'm very honored, and I was banned from the Twitter. But I continue using the other social medias, including the threads. I don't know if you think that it's a good way to communicate risk for the population, but I will resist. Okay, my first slide, let me see, where is it here?
The green.
The green, okay, thanks. Okay, as you know, Brazil was one of, no.
The green one.
The green.
No, green, right there.
Oh, sorry.
No, that one.
Yes.
There you go.
Brazil was one of the major producers of asbestos until recently. And, but even banned by our Supreme Court in 2017, I think, and I correct me if I am wrong, but it was the first country or the unique country where the Supreme Court banned asbestos. It was not our legislative power, the executive power, but the Supreme Court. In Brazil, we are living a political situation, as you know, very difficult until recently. Okay. The old challenges, the continuation of the exploitation of asbestos for export, especially for Asia, as Harminder mentioned, that are still using a lot of asbestos, especially India, Thailand, Indonesia. And the scandal of the sinking of the aircraft carrier São Paulo, which I denounced last year here, and happened what I supposed or I told to the media that would be happened. And the media called this the shipwreck of wisdom. Here, the new achievements. As you can see in the video, we are pleased to announce that we have managed to assemble a multi-skilled task force to take health care and legal assistance to asbestos victims in Brazil. These efforts have also been pivotal to make our efforts known and increase the awareness of our fight. This work, with the support of the Labor Public Ministry here, represented by Dr. Sefora, in conjunction with the Hearst Institute, one of the most respected and free of charge public health institutions in the country that is linked to the University of São Paulo. The outpatient clinic for people exposed to asbestos, coordinated by Dr. Ubiratã de Paula Santos and funded by an American donator, which his brother died with mesothelioma, and she donated money for our outpatient, has received groups of formerly exposed people from different Brazilian states who undergo chest x-rays, spirometry, and CT scan, in addition to clinical examination. This specific group came from the state of Rio de Janeiro to be evaluated by the multidisciplinary team at the Heart Institute. Okay, the team also advises the workers on smoking cessation of program. 15 days after this campaign for following up the group, a task force composed of doctors, lawyers, as Dr. Juliana da Costa Silva here present, federal labor prosecutors like Dr. Sefora here present, public health professors and members of ABREA traveled to Rio de Janeiro to meet the workers previously examined at INCOR, their relatives and others who will pass through this medical follow-up in the coming months. In this meeting, medical reports were delivered. Another landmark of our work supported by Osasco City Hall was the construction of the memorial of asbestos victims in front of the former plant of Eternity, which existed for more than 50 years and was part of the Swiss-Belgian branch, which owned the largest factory in the Americas. The monument, more than a funeral symbol, honors life and is represented metaphorically by a long tree, where the trunk symbolizes the indestructible and resistant asbestos fibers, the leaves represent the bronchial tree, which purifies the air so necessary to live, and the rings, the communication with the forces of the universe. Matter and spirituality are both represented here in a perfect harmony and balance, the essence of life. We hope we have managed to make you aware of our combat and to inspire you to continue fighting for the eradication of the lethal fibers in the whole planet and especially here in USA. Thanks so much for your attention. Aos amigos do Brasil e companheiros das associações de vítimas que nos ouvem nessa transmissão online, patrocinada pelo Ministério Público do Trabalho, espero ter representado vocês aqui na capital dos Estados Unidos da América. And thank you. I'm very nervous because I just knew that are spies from the industry, Brazilian industry here following us. Olá. Okay, we greet you for your presence. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank Linda for giving us the opportunity to share information with her precious audience that includes victims of asbestos exposure, their families, and experts in various fields of knowledge. I'm especially happy to be next to Fernanda Giannasin, who is an inspiration in Brazil in the fight to ban asbestos. Fernanda, you are a strong woman with a strong voice. So now let me introduce myself. My name is Sefora Char. I'm a federal labor prosecutor in Brazil. I believe that the role of prosecutors around the world is to prosecute criminals. In Brazil, it's different. However, in Brazil, the Federal Labor Prosecution Office is a kind of a branch of the Federal Prosecution Office specialized in labor issues. In Brazil, we have a court specialized in labor claim and its federal issue also. It's important to say that in the Federal Labor Prosecution Office, we have the National Program for Banning Asbestos in the workplace, what was developed by the prosecutors Luciano Leivas, Márcia Camei, and Daniela Elber. So let me start. Yeah. Okay. For more than a decade, the document Brazil's Asbestos Dossier, produced by the Committee on Environment and Sustainable Development of the Deputies Chamber, already dealt with the matter related to the use of asbestos in the chlor-alkali process. In 2010, 3 companies in the sector used diaphragm, Carbochloro, Braskem, and ADAO Brazil. But unfortunately, ADAO is the only company in Brazil in the sector that insists on using it today. It's important to recall that in 2017, the ADAO mobilized a political effort to insert in state law that it could fully use its asbestos stock until January 2026. However, this device was vetoed, so that the law banned the economic use of asbestos in the state of Bahia, but the company insists on ignoring it using false legal loopholes. In 2017 also, the Supreme Court declared unconstitutional the Article 2 of the federal law, authorizing the use of a chrysotile and products containing the substance known to be carcinogenic in the capitulation of the National List of Carcinogens for Humans. This year, 2023, the Supreme Court also rejected the appeal to postpone the economic exploitation of asbestos. Along the same lines, the use of asbestos in Brazilian territory offends the Convention 162 of the International Labour Organization that in its Article 10 stipulates where necessary to protect workers' health, if technically feasible. The following measures should be provided by national legislation. It should also be added that ADAO uses asbestos clandestinely in the face of the labor inspection authorities, since the enterprise hasn't renewed the registration before. We need to pay attention also that the agreement between the company and the workers' union that allowed the use of asbestos was not renewed in 2019. In this specific case, the full conversion of the technology by ADAO in the state of Bahia was initially planned for 2023, but was postponed to 2025, like here. Link the replacement of the carcinogenic mineral to the existing stock in the plant and not to the technology already available and used by the company itself, because of the 8 series of electrolytic cells that use diaphragm with asbestos in 4, the technology has already been converted. The schedule present will be linked to the stock of 115 tons of asbestos in the plant, and not to the existing technology. The specific case undoubtedly characterizing fair competition to the detriment of companies in the same sector that plan the replacement of asbestos diaphragm technology, making the necessary investments. From the FLPO civil inquiry, we obviously concluded that ADAO did not monitor risks according to the rules. Therefore, the speech of the company that has no record of sick workers is empty, considering that this enterprise has not been controlling the risks of its own current workers correctly. For example, the ones who remove the asbestos sacks from the containers and dump it in the funnel for the maintenance of the diaphragm. Other activities are not even controlled, like in the unloading of asbestos sacks, in the internal transport, in the cleaning of tanks, in the technological conversions of the series of electrolytic self-use asbestos diaphragm, in the transport and disposal to the landfill. Thereby, the company puts people in danger by omitting information about the risks and by not properly monitoring these risks, which lead us to the sense that there are very likely to be people who don't even know they're sick from exposure to asbestos, or that deaths have happened and have never been related to exposure either. It's necessary to recognize the decision of the Supreme Court for the ban on asbestos which became final in June 2023 because there is no longer there's no longer any appeal is of inescapable importance, including being the only Supreme Court in the entire world to have banned the use of asbestos. Based on the inquiry at a recent date in August, the FLPO filed a lawsuit demanding Dow to immediately stop using the stock of 150 tons of asbestos. There is the interdiction of its stock. Look, that I'm emphasizing because it's a huge amount. This is an urgent action that precedes the main action, which will require a lot of effort to compensate for the damage caused to workers over many, many years of asbestos use. So the change is in your hands, and thank you so much.
Thank you.